What's up, nerds? My name's Corey Bergeron. You're watching Corey Bergeron Recordings, and we're back with a brand new video. It's 2024, which has me naturally reflecting on the year that just went by, and I realized that my partner in crime, the guy I always reference when I point in that direction, Taylor, generated $81,434 in 2023. That might be a lot of money. That might be a little bit of money. I don't know what how you see that. But what I think is fascinating is that he has only been doing music production full-time for 3 years. And I can tell you from my experience, in my third year of doing music production full-time, I didn't make that money. So I figured, why don't I ask him some questions? He can share his experience a little bit, all with the hopes that we all learn something. So we're going to switch the setup up, and we're going to talk to Taylor. Taylor says he's not a natural on camera, so give him some grace. We'll see how this goes. And here we go. Let's learn how Taylor earns a living.
Yo, dude, what's going on, man? Is that cool?
Yeah, that's good.
That was sick. So I started out playing music, when I was like 10 years old, like most 10-year-olds. I started playing drums, played in bands, did all that stuff, decided to pursue it further, which I thought was a cool idea to go to university, study music there. After university, I kind of just laid low and taught drums for a long time. So it was a comfortable gig. It kind of kept me busy. Well, I actually moved in with Corey. We were roommates for a while, and so living with him, I kind of learned a little bit about the whole production side of things. I came from the musician mentality where everything was about getting a performance, but you have no idea how to translate that into what people actually listen to. But in about 2020, when the world kind of took a break for a couple of weeks anyways, maybe a little more than a couple of weeks, I decided to jump headfirst into music production via Fiverr. So I just started a Fiverr account. I always had an interest in composition. So I started doing the Fiverr thing as composing music for any projects. I didn't really have a plan. I just kind of went into it. And then after doing the Fiverr thing for a certain amount of time, I was doing it on the side. I was still teaching when lessons were kind of back in person. It was kind of the work slowing down in the teaching and the opportunity to kind of take a step back and do music production. It kind of showed me that I really wanted to take more time into the composition production side of things. Yeah. Did I get far enough? I offer composition services. I offer mixing, mastering services. I also compose stuff for video, so kind of like a specialized composition service, but pretty much anything, pretty much all over the map. Anything that I know how to do that someone is willing to pay for, I do. So we've kind of developed a super customized package of things that both Corey and I offer, just based on our skill set. I find 95% of my clients through Fiverr. Fiverr's, it's an excellent platform if you're looking to get visibility. And I've always taken customer service and customer satisfaction really seriously. And I think over the last 2 years or so, that's really paid off. And Fiverr continues to send me people because they know that I will do everything I can to give them a good experience. And that just kind of pollinates itself. Corey and I had this great idea about a year and a half ago to offer live drum recording. So if you have a song and you want live drums, we would record it. Corey would be sitting here. I'd be in the live room, set all my drums up. Sometimes they'd have specifications about I want it to have this kind of snare sound and this kind of thing. So you do a little bit of prep work. And then we found if a revision happens, we'd have to set it all back up or hopefully have it all set up from the day before. It ended up being quite a process, and just you can only charge so much, right? There's a market cap kind of for what people are willing to pay for drum recording. It's a lot of work. It's getting 2 people organized instead of 1, and it just took a little too much work for what the payoff at the end of the gig was. So that's one of those ones that didn't make it into 2024. Depending on the season, I usually wake up sometime between 6:30 and 9. I live an 11-minute walk away from work, so I just boot it. Come to work as soon as I can. It usually takes me like an hour to get ready, and we jump into projects. So I start my day by kind of going through messages, kind of making sure everything's coordinated. I haven't left anyone in the dark for too long. That sometimes, if it's a Monday morning or something, and I've taken some time off on the weekend, that can be a 3, 4, 5 hour process in the morning. In that process, I'm kind of making mental notes as to what my to-do list has to be in order to get everything done by the deadline. Yeah, and then you go into the project. So that's like a whole different world. I basically close off everything, go into the project, lose track of time, spend 4, 5, 6, 7 hours working on whatever I need to work on. Some projects are smaller, some projects are bigger, but yeah, I basically go into the dungeon and work as hard as I can, get as much stuff done as I can. It's very dynamic. Some days you can spend all day on revisions if you have 10 projects that you delivered the day before. Some days you can spend 10 hours on one thing and not even finish it. And sometimes it's just all over the place. Corey and I are bouncing things. I'm filling in drums for him. He's coming in there and helping me mix some guitars here and there, or tracking some stuff. It can be super chaotic, or it can be very one track. I think what I learned in university was super helpful. I really focused and really paid attention in theory classes and stuff like that. And I find that is super useful every day. I go through, like knowing how to hear a chord change. I think that's stuff you'll develop anyways. Corey has the ability to do that. He didn't go to university for music. But just kind of the framework of understanding how stuff fits together is really useful in this kind of work. I don't regret it at all, but it definitely didn't have a direct path to making any kind of career for myself. You really have to figure out what you want to do and figure out how to use the knowledge you have to do that. So this goes back to having a dynamic schedule. It kind of depends what I've been working on that week. If I've been working on writing songs all week, and I started Monday and I wrote a song by 3 p.m. and produced it and mixed it and got it out, and then at 3 p.m. I started working on the next song, and then Tuesday the same thing happened and 2 songs got through, and then the same thing Wednesday. By the time Thursday happens, I don't want to do anything creative. I don't want to think. I want to do the most mindless thing I can do. So that's when I try to save like a drum editing gig, or something like that, vocal tuning, something that's a little more straightforward and doesn't take the creative portion of my brain. Well, we just got off the holiday break, so if you go from the last 2 or 3 weeks, it's probably about 50 hours a week. But if you take any other subset of weeks in the year, probably more like 60, 70, somewhere along that line. I think the tail end of 2023, I was taking a bit more, putting a bit more energy into making sure that I took time off. Took a couple of 2-day weekends here and there. Crazy, eh? 2-day weekends, Saturday and Sunday, no work. Time off work is important to just maintain relationships with people you love. I have a significant other at home that I like spending time with. Beyond just that, just getting out of the routine and having a moment to step back and realize that what we do, while it's important for our clients and for ourselves, it's not something that requires a great deal of stress, and it's probably not healthy to have it carry a great deal of stress. So it kind of is a good reset. I find 2-day weekends are awesome because it gives me enough time away where I'm excited to come into work on Monday. I'm looking forward to seeing what projects have come in and kind of going through projects that I know need to get done that week. Time off is good, but it requires being organized to make sure that you don't have a daunting amount of projects that you're not sure if you can get done the following week, because that will follow you through the weekend. One of my strengths is kind of communication mixed with an understanding of the production process. So I think with what we do specifically, I can add a lot of value by taking the time to listen to them, ask them the right questions to really understand what they like about their song, what they are aiming for with their production, and figuring out a realistic game plan to execute that and to actually get them a product that aligns with their vision for their song. Yeah, so as far as weaknesses, I started doing this pretty recently, the last 3 years, and I know people like Corey have done it for half his life he spent doing this. So I definitely have some missing pieces as far as the average person's learning curve, just knowing kind of what plugins are in the marketplace and which ones are the tried and true ones of the last decade. It's been a struggle for me, getting my mixes to sound competitive. That wasn't something that happened overnight. That was something that I had the ability to work with Corey, so he was able to kind of go over my shoulder and say, oh, what are you doing with that compressor? Why is everything slamming? Why is everything going here? Why do you have so much mid-range in this? So little things like that are probably my weaknesses. Big fans of the internet here. I live in a suburban little town, and there's not any music that I see in the environment around me other than in these series of rooms in the studio. So, no. What's it like working with Corey? Yeah, it's a little sporadic. Corey's always on like a new thing every day. Maybe not every day, but like every 2 weeks. He'll have like a new yo, I figured it out. We got to do this. I'd say like 1 in 5 of them stick. So we get some new systems in place. But yeah, it's definitely a little like hectic side to side what's happening next, but it's also awesome. I mean, I get his ears on the stuff I would be doing. I mean, if we didn't work in this situation, it would be stuff I would spend 5-6 hours second guessing myself about, and I can get his ears on it, and he can within 10 minutes kind of give me a direction as to how to approach changing stuff. That part's awesome. Working the amount of time that we work a week, I think it's super important to have someone else that is silly and like-minded, and you can make jokes with through the day to kind of make the time go by and to not feel like you're just getting slammed at every corner. And I'd say it's, in my situation, it was super important because I learned, I mean, when Corey did this, he didn't have anyone that he was really like consistently looking up to kind of get ideas from and to figure out how to do stuff. And I think it took him a lot longer to kind of get to where he's at. I've been able to kind of increase my experience 2 or 3-fold to what most people can, just because I don't necessarily have to make the mistakes that every producer makes, because I have someone kind of that I can reach out to and say, yo, am I doing this right? Would you do this a different way? Why would you do this way? I'd say it's if you have the opportunity to kind of learn from someone that knows more about what you want to do than you do, take that opportunity and run with it. And you can be just like me.
Okay, there you go. Did you learn something? Did you like it? Did you not like it? Did you like Taylor? Let me know in the comment section down below. If you have any further questions that you'd like to ask me or him, you can leave them down there. We'll answer them. Did you like this video? Did you? Am I getting good at these outros? The Leafs are playing tonight, so they have to win the hockey game. If they win the hockey game, then I'm happy. Okay, that's it for the video. Thank you very much. Good night. Have a good day.